Sorry, I wanted to make sure I was on. I had the chat room open on that way. That way it doesn't fade off the screen. Um, hey, Planet Dog. Doug, how you doing, my brother? And Ali, how you doing, young lady? Don't sure who else is in here. Say hi if you want, or sit in the background. Sometimes people just play this because I know I sometimes start rambling on doing the hobo. Hang on. Turn that down. So, hit list. Nice to see you, my brother, from Taiwan. Um, Today is the day I go. I go ahead and leave the campground here. I know there's a time warp, guys. Like I'm at the campground. If you don't know, I am at the campground that I was in my last video. But the video I tried to upload after that, it reset on me, and right now the hot link is the better connection out here, and that's what I'm using on this one right now. It's but it's got only like 20 after yesterday's live stream. It only has like 20 gigs left, so I'm assuming I'll be replacing this one with Doug's recommendation on his the 2,000 gigs for 9 days for, what is it, 13 ringgit or something. But that sounds good. That's something that would be allow me to keep up the daily live stream plus post videos and stuff. And thing is, if it's let's say 20 gigs and it resets, you know, after it uploads 10 gigs and resets and starts to upload again, that 20 gigs can end up being like 40 gigs, you know, just because usually I plug it into my power bank to keep the screen on, because developer options, I have it stay awake while, you know, then I go to sleep. And so I don't know how many times within the night it might like be resetting itself. So I just know, so a lot of times it says uploading, it'll be done in 3 hours, and then 5-6 hours later it's still uploading. So that means it most likely resetted. But let's see who's everybody here. We have Ali, we have Hit List, we have Buddy Boy, hello, X-Pete, Expat Pete, good morning. Flea, good morning, brother. Okay, yeah, Doug can't stay long. He has his appointment for his passport. Hey, good luck on that passport, my brother. Yeah, that's crazy that they need to make them for travelers with that have more pages. Because I was thinking the same thing. Like, what happens when you run out of pages? You know, so yeah, you still have 5 years on yours, but you don't have pages. So that's crazy. But these are things I'm gonna have to learn as I go along. That's one of the things is stepping out of the United States was really stepping out of my comfort zone, because especially if you're like an introvert slash extrovert, that means you like your group of people, you know. Introverts are just that way anyway. They are extroverts. They just like their people. It's not that they don't like people. It's like they just like their people, but they also value their alone time. You know, you have like a social battery, and that social battery, when it burns out, you need to recharge it. So you like to do things like read books, or even just sit on the internet, watch some videos or something like that. And you're not reliant upon people. Introverts are more I'm not going to say self-centered, because that sounds bad, but they know how to enjoy being by themselves more. Where extroverts, I don't think, have that privilege, is that they need that energy, they need to feed off that energy of having attention from other people. So they're very outgoing, but they're really outgoing to try and get other people to, you know, but also I think that they're spread across a larger amount of people, that they need to get, you know, they need more people, be around more people. I'm not trying to talk bad. It's just, you know, it's, you know, extroverts are people that like to be around people. I don't necessarily need that. You know, I enjoy this. You know, I like being around nature and stuff like that. I've really enjoyed being here. Um, let's see. Yeah, as Flea mentioned about the stamps in the you, Flea mentioned I prefer to have the stamp that reminds me of the place I went. I thought the same thing, but the thing is, a lot of the stamps just look the same unless you read really hard on the place you've gone. Some of them are like huge and beautiful and take up a whole page of their own and stuff. And other ones are just, but a lot of them are just very small stamps that you wouldn't even know. Like when you go to Greece or something like that, looks almost the same as if you went to Morocco. They have small little stamps. Um, but yeah, the Camino was one of the reasons why the Camino was so awesome of a trail. Was the fact is like so a lot of Spain is, if you've never been to Spain, a lot of it is based around the Camino, because the Camino comes from all different parts of Spain, and no matter where you're at in Spain, you can pretty well just go find the Camino and just start walking it, and it all goes in the same direction. So you all end up back in Santiago anyway. And then from Santiago, if you're not done with the Camino, like you want to keep going, you can go out to the what is Finisterre, to the edge of the what they call the edge of the world, and you can do that loop and come all the way back. That's what I did. I did that with Doug, one of my friends, Doug, that pops into Telegram once in a while. He's one of my early fans because, well, he's my friend from Camino, so he was like one of the first people to start watching my videos and give me, like, yeah, keep at it, man, you know. So he's always given me very inspirational words, and a very knowledgeable person. This is not the Planet Doug, different Doug. And his cat's my biggest fan. He makes sure I know that Annie's always watching my videos. So actually, in one of my videos, I put Annie watching my video, and it was funny because I got a copyright. Okay, I got a copyright not from the video that initially had the music in it. I got a copyright from YouTube for the video of the cat watching the video, that I already posted. So the video that the cat's watching of me, which initially didn't get the copyright, got the copyright while the cat was watching it. So I was like, that's ridiculous. But I haven't had that problem since using the YouTube Studio, going to the music section and doing it. I was under the assumption that the one that was called Audio Library. So I'm having a problem with the Audio Library ones, and actually a lot of people are. A lot of the companies are putting out. Music that they say are copyright free, but then turning around and claiming copyright on them. So a lot of my videos, I have to go back in, and when I put in a dispute on it, right, they turn around and say, no, we're holding to the claim, even though that video can easily be found. So I don't know if it's just like a little con job that they're running, because there's one major company that's doing it on almost all their music. So they're offering the music, all music across the board is copyright free, and then turn around and say, no, we own it. I don't know if they actually get the resource from YouTube for the commercials and stuff when that happens, but sometimes it just says they're splitting the income. That was one of the options for some music that was playing back in the back of the Kota jail. And I was like, I'm not sure if this would get a copyright strike. Well, it did, not strike. It said the revenue was going to be split. And instead of taking that music out because it was such a long section being played in the background, I just say, I'll just split the revenue with the artist, So I went that route. But these are all things that, I have to learn as I go along. This is all like super new to me. Very time consuming, but it's, so yeah, I know Hit List, you're an old one to the live stream. I know you used to like to do live stream. That's the one good thing about live stream is once you hit stop, you're done. You know what I'm saying? There's no editing, there's no adding music, there's not. It's like get on, record, stop, you're done. You know, so there's a lot less process involved, and it's kind of a relief. So this is not actually taking up any more of my time except for the time that I initially invest when I hit go live. So I could actually, this is not a big problem for me to continue doing as long as I got the data, you know. And, you know, I can just decide how long. Now, I am flooding YouTube with content. I don't know how that affects my channel in the future, but let's see. I don't know how much of a delay there is in this, so I'm looking at the comments. Oh, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, some of the music, I'm going to go back and dispute it again because, Flea was talking about, I think the revenue loss now will be minimal compared to if you had 50,000 followers. Yeah, it's something I just need to actually sit down. There's like, so trying to keep up a daily vlog, right, which is constantly consuming time. I mean, because regardless if I do something or not, I have to film a little bit of what I'm doing regardless because I'm doing a daily vlog. That's always going to eat up time. So I'm never going to catch up to that point where I don't actually have anything because I'll always have to edit that day's vlog. So when I start adding things and stuff I need to do, like phone shopping was a big thing, you know, just sitting down and trying to figure out how to make another thumbnail for my YouTube or for my post because the American Hobo was not all fitting into my post section, so I had to jump off and do that. That was fairly quick. I'm getting faster at these. I made a new one. If you look at the post, you'll notice that the American Hobo actually fits in with the little guy and stuff. That's because I made that up real quick. But stuff like going back and trying to redispute all these because I already disputed it once and they denied that. So now I actually have to physically go in and give my information, all my information, my contacts and all this stuff to who I am and put in an appeal. So the appeal is now a little more threatening because now, you know, it's like what they used to call aggravation of the court, you know, where you can make a lesser crime into a greater crime because you're aggravating the court, you know. So that's kind of like what it kind of sounds like is because now I'm pushing the legal process by appealing it. But the thing is I looked up the company that's mainly doing, I don't have it right off the bat of the top of my head. I Googled them and stuff, and it seems like they're actually doing this to a lot of people. And the music they're offering is copyright free are going to some of these software companies. So the software companies that people are paying for, right, paying for the monthly to get these songs, are using those songs and then getting the copyright strike. So it's like this company everybody feels is a fraudulent company, right? But they're not willing to give the information on, like, so now when YouTube requires that you give them your information, your personal information, your phone number, your address, your all this, and YouTube will take that information and share it with a company that you now think is, because they're being notorious about doing this, which you think is a fly-by-night type of, you know, basically a company, right? I'm not saying that the you know, the bad part is the artists are also going to get a black eye from this, right? Because the companies that's putting out their music is, you know, the artists think it's copyright free, but so anyway, so a lot of people are hesitant, even though they need to take that final step against this company. They need to take that final step to say, oh, I put in the appeal, but they're like, I don't trust this company, you know. I don't mind giving the information to YouTube, but YouTube is going to turn around and share it with this company that's running a con job. You know what I'm saying? So it would be like, you're like, hey, that guy stole my wallet. And the cops say, okay, well, give me your name, address, and stuff, and I'll give that information to him while I'm investigating, you know. And it's like, no, and I don't want, if I don't trust this company, I don't want you sharing my information with it. So I'm not the only one that has a problem with this. So I don't know what this company is doing, but the thing is I'm going to go ahead and just find some time where I can just sit back and not be doing so much stuff. And because there's a lot of songs, and most of them I think are coming from this one company. And I just had to put in the appeal against all of them. And how is that going to affect my channel? I don't know, because now it does. If this company is like really after the dollar bills, right? And they just basically want me to cave in and say, here, I'll give you a few $100s for permission, or I don't know if they're pulling revenue or what. I know a lot of content creators just say, well, what can I do to make this right? Okay, you want $500, here you go, right? I'm not willing to do that. But hopefully this company just gets shut down. Honestly, because I know what they're doing is they're just putting out a copyright strike across all their music, right? And then when the person disputes it, they don't even look at it. They just deny it all the way across. And because of these disputes came back real fast, as well, no, we're holding to our copyright claim. Well, then you didn't look, because I put in the link, you know, because you're supposed to give credit. So I put those credits in the description just like I was supposed to do and all this stuff. So I just copy and pasted those credits that were in the description, which was a requirement, back into YouTube and said I followed this. Here's the link that's, you know, shows that the music's supposed to be copyright free and all this. But anyway, that's something I need to do, but that's on my older videos. I don't have too much of a problem with the sharing that information with a company, just to, you know. But then again, I don't know what type of what type of outcome it can have on my videos if they have the right to say, no, we want you to remove that music from your video now because you're giving us a hard time, right? Then, you know, that, because they're big sections of music, you know. If you look at my old videos, it's like the music that I was using when I was going around the temple and stuff like that, the temple's back in the back, and trying to do the artistic key thing with the music and everything like that. So I'd have to cut out that whole section, and it would just be a mute section of me going around the temple, you know, with nothing in the background, which is kind of strange. But all right, guys, that's my babble for the day. Well, probably not my only one. Okay, yeah, Flea was like, frequent content uploads will move you up the YouTube algorithm. Yeah, I think you mentioned that and stuff like that. Companies tend to bully small time creators. Yeah, but they're not just bullying the small time creators, because what they're doing is these music platforms that they're putting out the software where you go in and there's like, you know, 100,000 different songs to choose from, all copyright free, but you're paying that company, right, that has the software, whatever. I can't think right off the top of my head, but they were mentioned in the comments like, hey, I use this, you know, which I pay $15 a month for, right? So now that complaint's going to get back to them, because the companies themselves that, you know, have the copyright, the paid subscription to the copyright free music, they're going to say, hey, you're saying that your music copyright, and we're allowing other people that pay monthly. So what's going to happen is eventually the company that's doing it, not the artist, but the company itself, is going to get into a lawsuit of some type by these bigger companies that are issuing the monthlies, you know. or yeah, something eventually is going to happen to them. It's just, you know, how long and all this stuff. And I should probably, in my post, I should probably go ahead and track down the name of the company too, and just throw a post up for anybody that might actually be wanting to know who I'm talking about. And then you can Google this company a little bit. Like I said, you know, at first, you know, don't blame the artist, because the artist isn't really at fault. And, you know, uh, Isa, I guess that's how we'll say your name. Good morning. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, so if we said it's because they don't usually have the resources to fight back. Well, that's what it is. Is you're a content creator, so you're probably broke. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have the time, and you don't have the money to hire anybody, right? And like I said, if I sit down, I'm gonna actually dispute all of them, because. But the fact is the information that I do have to put in is I have to put in my friend's address, because I'm not in the United States. But that's the one YouTube has. And then I have to put in my other friend's telephone number. These are because of the two-step verifications, I needed these two. So these are the ones that are on file with YouTube and stuff like this. And I'll have to put in all that and use a second party, my friends being the second party, or third party or whatever, to actually receive this information, get back to me. And it's just kind of a pain in the butt for them, you know. Anyway, it's because they're in a different time zone. They're over in America. One of them's a truck driver, so he's the one that I was able to get monetized because I needed a phone number. And my other friend. Now remember, I'm a vagabond. I could have 3 of my fingers blown off by a grenade and still, with one hand, count as many friends as I got. to, so, yeah, I don't have, I have friends from the Tennessee area, a little bit, you know, and that's it. And one of them's actually a teacher I used to have online, and on like, yeah, just a teacher that I had online. And one was one of the guys that went to the same MTOI, Messianic congregation type thing that we did in Tennessee. If you guys don't know what the Torah root, the Hebrew roots Messianic is, they're kind of strange. But you know, it was cool to be in it. All right, guys. I might keep this short just because there is supposed to be a weather moving in here. It'll take me at least a minimum, probably 3 hours to get over there. I need to pack up all my stuff here. But we're going to have a storm moving in between 4 and 6 o'clock. One weather app says 6 o'clock, and one says 4 o'clock. And I'm just going to go with the earlier time and say it's going to probably hit around 4 o'clock. But yeah, so I'm heading towards the city, and I should be there. It's about 36 kilometers, so I should be there in about 3 hours. But I had to pack up all this and stuff like that. This spot was awesome. When I get to the hostel the hostel I have for 4 nights, there's actually only 2 $5 hostels. One is they were both labeled as $5, but then you have the 10 ringgit tax on top of it, so that brings it up more like $8. I got the one because Ali sent me, like, over in Telegram, the roads that are being closed off, and one of them was kind of way down at the foot end, right, of where the parade's going to be, and one was like smack dab in the middle of the parade. This one down here was only like 4 4 beds, so like 2 bunk beds, you know. And the other one's like 15 bunk beds, 30 beds. So actually I went for the one that was the bigger 30 bed one, just because it was like right, the parade will be right outside my door there, and it's more centrally located. But the fact is the smaller one, right in their name, it says 20 ringgit a night. So I'm almost positive if I would have just gone in person instead of booking it over the phone, because if you book it over the phone, booking.com and Agoda charges you the 10 ringgit tax on the app, you know, as you checking out. You know, it's the last minute thing, honestly, which annoys me because they don't, you know, it's like, this is your last step, and by the way, instead of $25, it's actually $35, you know, because that's what it came out to. For 4 nights was $25, but then the $2.50 per night on top of that came out to 33% more, you know. That's quite a bit. That's a 33% markup in taxes and fees. So that's quite a bit. So I would have gotten 2 extra nights at the other spot. But if I decide to stay in the city longer, because I need to start taking my time, otherwise I'll be done with this side of Malaysia fast. So I'll stay the initial 4 nights right in the center of everything to see the parade and everything like that. And then if I want to stay longer, I'll go down to the little smaller, cozier one, which isn't really that much farther. And see if I can just get the 20 ringgit or not 20 ringgit, yeah, 20 ringgit a night without the tax if I do it personal. I found one spot that does it, so it's not like they don't do it there. Morocco, they all did it. It's like if you pay in person, they wouldn't give you the what's called the city tax. So in some cities in Morocco didn't actually have the city tax, and some were more expensive. Like in Fez was more expensive than you know. Well, anyway, each city tax was a different price. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Chef Chouin actually had a city tax or not. I think it did. Okay, so Ali, you said the car free thing you sent me was from July, but they do it once a month, the first Sunday. Yeah, that's kind of how it was JB when I did that. Let's see. Have a good day. Safe ride to Kuantan yet. Enjoy the. Yeah, thank you, Flea. Yeah, Flea. That's what I actually ran into. I'm not sure if you clocked out yet, but I didn't want to take the chance of going over there and then finding out that they were sold out, because the one with 30 beds was claiming that I was getting the last one. And the thing is I could say, well, that's just the beds that they list on Agoda or Booking.com, because they don't usually put in all their beds. But some of them do. Some of them will list every single bed, and if you buy one in person, they just get up there and check it off, like, you know, off of Agoda or whatever. But a lot of them hold it back. But I didn't want to take that chance because I've lost out. You know, I don't know if the city gets that busy, because they're actually claiming that they're sold out on between the first and second, which that didn't make sense to me, unless people are going home or something and pre-booked. You know, because it was like, so I was able to get the room all the way up to the first, but between the first and second, everything seemed to be sold out. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. So I'll find out what I do on between the first and second. If I stay longer, I'll probably go down to the smaller one. Yeah, actually, the thing is, I think with the taxes and stuff like that, the only problem I have is like I said, the 10 ringgit tax you just get used to, right? But the fact is the things I think that might are the more upsetting is the fees, because they also don't come up until the very last minute on the apps and stuff like that. But when you notice that, it's um, like when you know that the 10 ringgit tax, which is $2.50, so is the bare minimum, then you expect that. But then you're like, wait a second, where's the other $6 in taxes and fees coming from? Especially when you go into a spot that's $10 a night, and when you check out, when you actually get around to paying it, it's $12.50. Well, actually, there's usually a little bit of tax on it, but it's like $13 even. And you're like, wow, okay, that was just the 10 ringgit tax is what they hit me with. But then you go to another spot that's charging, let's say $9, right? And when you done checking out, it's $17, and you're like, wait a second. It's like, where did $8? Okay, let's say $3 of that is the 10 ringgit tax. Where is the other $5 coming from? And then like service charge. Okay, that's fancy for nothing. That's fancy for just a charge that because we want to. Cleaning fee, which is ridiculous because you got to clean anyway, and not just that. Half the spots that charge you for cleaning fees are dirty anyway. They are. I mean, some of the dirtiest ones I've been in have listed a cleaning fee, and then there's shipping and handling and putting up with your ass charge, and it's like I'm being fictitious there, but yeah, no, it's so when you see all these extra charges, and it's frowned upon. It really is. So the spot I was at, which was supposed to, when I realized that there was like $5 in hidden fees and stuff, I didn't stay another night just because those extra fees that I didn't notice until the next day. But anyway, guys, 32 minutes. I'm going to keep it at that. I'm going to start heading to packing up my stuff and heading out today. When I get there, you guys will see how beautiful this spot is. I'll have to catch up my Google Maps. I do have this listed, but I don't have all the extra days I stayed because I stayed, I think, 4 nights now. And yeah, you'll just see how awesome this spot is. It has everything you need to. Like a small little store, just a few small little street vendors, for chicken and fried bananas, and there's some little restaurants and stuff up and down the way. But yeah, this spot was super beautiful. I could have, I mean, honestly, if no one kicked me out of the trees here, I'd probably end up living in the trees, honestly. So anyway, I'm gonna say peace out, guys. I'm gonna start packing, and get ready for a marathon of videos when I hit the city. Get ready for a marathon of videos because it's just basically they're all edited. All I need to do is thumbnail and title and upload. Thumbnail and title and upload. Thumbnail and title and upload. That's like 4 days of catch up I have. Alright, guys. Goodbye, y'all, and see you tomorrow.